The scene of a massive python attempting to swallow a gazelle with sharp horns presents a striking illustration of both the capabilities and the limits of predatory adaptation in the natural world. Pythons are extraordinary ambush predators, relying on stealth, patience, and immense muscular power. They do not kill with venom or speed but through constriction, carefully overpowering prey significantly larger than what other predators of similar size could handle. A gazelle, on the other hand, is the embodiment of alertness and agility, built for flight and vigilance. Its horns are not just ornaments but essential tools for defense. When these two animals meet, the confrontation becomes a complex test of anatomy, instinct, and raw survival. The python's strategy begins long before contact. It remains motionless, disguised within tall grasses or shaded brush, sensing vibrations and scents that indicate the approach of potential prey. When a gazelle wanders too close, the strike must be perfectly timed. The python launches forward with surprising speed, anchoring its jaws onto the gazelle. The next step is constriction, a calculated spiral of coils that tighten with every exhale the gazelle makes. Within minutes, the gazelle's strength fades, and the serpent begins the slow, methodical process of ingesting a meal that dwarfs the diameter of its own body. Yet the presence of sharp horns introduces real danger. Unlike small antelopes or young animals that pythons consume with relative ease, an adult gazelle's horns can tear tissue, puncture organs, or create leverage that prevents the python from forming a secure swallowing angle. The predator must maneuver the body carefully, often repositioning the head of the carcass repeatedly until the horns align in a way that minimizes risk. In the wild, this can take hours, and every minute exposes the python to other threats, scavengers, competing predators, or simply the exertion that drains its energy reserves. The gazelle's horns act as both a literal obstacle and a symbolic reminder of natural balance. While the snake is designed to consume large prey, evolution has not erased the challenges posed by defensive structures like horns, hooves, or tusks. Field biologists studying such events often note that pythons sometimes abandon horned prey when the geometry of swallowing becomes too complex or dangerous. But a sufficiently large python, one that has honed its technique through many successful hunts, may persist, using subtle muscular adjustments to angle the horns backward, flatten them slightly, or rotate the carcass so the hardest part passes first. Watching this process is both unsettling and awe-inspiring, an encounter where physics, biology, and instinct collide. Once the python begins swallowing, the elasticity of its jaws becomes the focal point. Contrary to popular myth, the snake does not dislocate its jaws. Instead, highly mobile ligaments allow each side of the jaw to move independently, inching forward in alternating motions. The skin around its mouth and throat stretches dramatically, almost impossibly, accommodating the widening shape of the gazelle's shoulders and chest. The horns remain the ultimate test. Even with clever angling, they may catch on the snake's mouth, forcing the python to reverse, reposition, and attempt again. This sequence, repeated multiple times, demonstrates the remarkable persistence of the predator but also the fragile limits of its anatomy. A miscalculation could tear the skin or injure internal tissue, creating long-term consequences that might jeopardize the snake's survival. If the python succeeds, the gazelle's body will slowly disappear inch by inch into the expanding coils of the serpent. Digestion will take weeks, powered by an intense surge of metabolic activity that breaks down bone, muscle, and even horn sheaths. During this time, the python becomes almost immobile, relying on camouflage and isolation for protection. Its risk shifts from active hunting challenges to the vulnerability of a prolonged digestive state. If it fails, the abandoned gazelle may attract scavengers while the python retreats to recover, using energy but gaining nothing in return. In this dramatic interaction between a massive python and a horned gazelle, the natural world reveals both its brutality and its intricate design. Each creature is shaped by pressures that encourage strength, caution, adaptation, and resilience. The scene is not simply predator versus prey, it is a living demonstration of how evolution pushes species to their limits and how survival is rarely guaranteed, even for the most capable hunters.